And welcome back to your favorite marriage show in the world. It is I, John D, and it is the Doing Too Much podcast, where we are changing the culture one conversation at a time.
Oh my gosh.
How are you doing today?
Y'all hear the difference this time. He came, he said, it's the most, your favorite marriage show in the world. It used to be the hottest marriage show in the world.
See, what you guys don't know is she's trying to recreate something that she just wished.
I promise the guy, it's so funny listening to you because this is different. Your intro is different.
It is.
You had way more energy before. This one is so funny to me. Look, he's done this about 3 times already. And every time he was like, favorite marriage show in the world.
Her and her character voices.
No, that's what you did. But anyway.
How are you doing?
I've been giggling. Well, I'm in a good mood.
That's good to hear.
You?
I'm good. I appreciate that. We had a overcast walk this morning, and it was pretty productive.
I was left out of it, but okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to go when it's later than normal. Typically, we're out of here around 7 to 7:30. It was like 8:15.
Yeah, it's Sunday. Is it Sunday or Monday?
It really doesn't matter because we walk the dogs the same time. The day doesn't determine. So, what's crazy is that
you didn't wake me up. It's okay.
You typically wake up between 7 and 7:30. But it was 8:15 by the time we got out the house.
I got up at 8:15. I looked outside. And y'all were nowhere.
Okay, maybe we were gone by 8:10.
Okay. Samey, right. Okay.
Regardless, we had a productive walk. We got the deep inhale and exhales and the nature. Starting slowly but surely, the leaves are getting lighter and lighter. Yeah. They're not as forest greeny as they once looked. But I'm excited because the weather is like 67 degrees. So that was pretty dope. I got a question for you. What are the benefits of marriage before you got married? Okay, so before, I guess it was tainted by your own experiences of growing up. What did they look like at one point? What were the happiest thoughts that you thought it was when you thought of marriage?
I didn't think of marriage as a benefit.
Did it make you happy? Did it make you unhappy?
Yeah, I thought that, regardless of what I saw growing up, and that's not to say that I didn't see loving marriages growing up, because I did, but I didn't see it as benefits.
Well, I was okay. This is the reason why I asked. I was trying to figure out what were your thoughts of it prior to seeing examples of it before it could taint whatever you thought it was.
Okay, I don't know what that was.
Like
what were my initial thoughts of marriage?
Yeah, like when you looked at it
as a child.
Yeah,
I didn't. It was just people that came together and had kids and took care of houses.
So you didn't. Was it? It was just a neutral thing that humans did.
Yeah.
Really?
Just what people did.
So did you plan on doing it?
Yeah, because I thought that was what you do. You get together and you.
So at what point did you, at your age, realize that wasn't it then? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So when did you start putting your own thought into it other than that's just what people do?
As I got older, and then you see all the messaging about, oh, this is when you fall in love with somebody and, you marry them, and then everybody's supposed to have white dresses and be all excited. Like, that's just what I got from it.
Okay, so when did you want to get married? How old were you when you first thought about getting married?
When I was little, like, you be a little girl and you're supposed to, like, I'm gonna marry, like, I was gonna marry Michael Jackson. I really remember I was gonna marry Michael Jackson. I was 4 years old. I had a lot of Michael Jackson fanfare, paraphernalia type stuff, and he was gonna be my husband. So as early as 4, I was getting married.
So what were y'all gonna do? Like he was just gonna sing to you every day or something? Y'all was gonna dance?
We was gonna sing. and be
Together.
together. I never thought about having kids or anything with him. He was just so daggum cute. Now, when I say this, I want you all to think back to, there was this one photo shoot he had. He was wearing white and gold, and everything was white and gold. I had the shoelaces too, and it was the Michael Jackson face from. It was before Bad, so it was like, what is that? Off the Wall, and then what came after Off the Wall?
Thriller.
Was it Thriller? Yeah. Thriller, Michael Jackson. Definitely Thriller, Michael Jackson was my boo.
Yeah, I think everybody loved Michael Jackson then.
Yeah, I was gonna marry him.
This is just kind of a sidebar just because you brought it up. He used to make people cry and they didn't even speak the language.
Yeah, I
And
know.
I often wondered, like, I guess that's what you consider pretty music, so pretty that it can make you cry, because I didn't feel like his music was moving, like for a cause or anything like that. It was just like, how he felt, whatever it was, and people used to cry when he sung, and
I don't think they cried because of what he sung. I think it was just the excitement of being so close to a superstar that they admired.
But I'm saying, like, he had to be very good for it. Wasn't just like one person crying. He made large groups of people cry. So regardless, like, I don't see people cry for certain stars. Like, that's what I'm saying. So you have to be able to say something where it's making people feel a certain. It's not about just being close. It's like, to me, I thought it was more than that. Like, I see people cry and they just like what do you think about this person? And they'll start crying. Like, oh my God, it was just like, so to me, it wasn't about being close. It was about, I don't know what it was, but I just never could understand how somebody could move somebody that much. But so after your short stint with Michael Jackson, and all of the messages you got, now that you can look back on it, did you anticipate marriage to be so much work?
No. I thought that if you were really compatible with somebody, but I mean, this is a child thinking. Even into my young adulthood, I was thinking, if you're compatible with somebody and you're not an argumentative person, it was going to be easy. I mean, y'all tag team with kids and you tag team with life and you enjoy each other because you're friends, and voila. I mean, you don't know. How is anybody supposed to know all of the details of the work when you don't see everything? Like, people don't have their marriage out on display for other people to be able to, look at and be like, oh, okay, so these are the types of struggles. I guess now in the reality world, the era we're in, I guess they do. But even in that, there's still stuff that's kept behind closed doors. So nobody can ever really know the amount of work that's necessary.
I think over the course of generations in a family, that families learn how to handle a marriage, because I believe it's certain things that'll get passed down. Like, this is probably the important part. We're not for sure. And then they go through it. It's like, okay, maybe this was the important part of it. And then that information will get passed. Like, this is the important part. And then you can just see how a family changes because they understood the message sooner than the generation before.
I mean, but that takes the previous generations being open and it being a teaching family and not just a.
That's what I'm saying. So somebody has to start that. And if it doesn't start, then you're just hoping that a kid is going to figure it out, I guess, when they become adults. So being married for 14 years, comparing it to the way that you looked at it, what are the benefits of marriage? Because I remember, we've been talking about, the difficult parts, or why it can be looked at as a scam for particular parties in a marriage. But what are the benefits? Do you like, yeah, what are your benefits? Do you think it was okay? This is the reason. This is the reason why marriage is legit. Because is it just for the kids? Is it because you want to look good? And the idea that you figured out marriage, like there's got to be a reason that keeps you in to look for year 15, or even 2 or 6, whatever it looks like. What are the benefits for you? Like, because when I look at it, I only see benefits to being married. The idea of being single, it seems lonely. It seems like you don't have as many responsibilities. If you can't make yourself happy, then that's something that you need help in. But after you get to the point where you can make yourself happy, you don't want to be alone. Like, I don't know anybody who is extremely happy and says, you know what, I'd rather be alone. They're like, you know, it's this empty part. I just wish I had somebody that I could grow with. And, you know, a lot of people won't say that. And only people won't say that are the single people.
I don't know if that. I mean, there are single people that'll be honest and say that that's something that they want.
That's what I'm saying. They say that because they haven't figured it out. Like as a kid, I just don't see how we can promote certain things as far as being fruitful. And then out of all these people in the world, you couldn't find one person to compliment you in the way to grow. So, like, what did you miss along the way for you to say, you know what, I'm just going to do this single life the best way I can?
I don't think that's fair. I think that there are definitely people in marriages that didn't figure out
anything. Absolutely.
And they are getting dragged along the way.
Well, not
and
disagree.
There are other people, it'd be 2 people ain't figured out marriage and
so
they're still in
I guess the whole point of it is that when you get married, you would like it to be a beautiful thing, not the way that you describe how nobody got into the marriage for them to feel that way.
No, but I want to just be clear that it's not just, I don't think that all single people are out there because they haven't figured it out. I think some of them are out there because they've been able to establish their own happiness and they do feel fulfilled. However, if they're going to have someone in their life, they want the person to add, not take away from that piece, or, you know, they want someone who is going to.
I think that's anybody though.
Yeah, but you said that they didn't figure it out. I don't think that it's that people haven't figured it out. It's like there might be people who figured it out. They just haven't met the person that fits that role.
So I remember us having a conversation some time ago. You attract the people that you need, or the people that you attract is the type of help that you need. You just don't know how you need it. And to me, when people are introduced to situations, this person could be the one, but you're blocked. They bring something that you need, but you guys don't know. So when I say that, when I'm looking at single people or even people in marriage that don't want to be like that. The whole goal of it is, I would like to grow old with someone that understands me. Like they know when to leave me alone. Like you don't say, you know what, I'm going to just master this single life. And, you know, you can say it however you want, but at the end of the day, nobody wants to grow old and alone, at least from the people that I've spoken to that are single. They make it seem like that's the thing, but I'm just looking as they get older and older, and I think about the people who are older now that are single, they don't look the happiest, you know. Yeah. So I'm just worried about the people our age who are doing a lot more successful financially, professionally, supposedly, spiritually, and all of these other things, but they're single. And you say that they haven't found anybody. Like, that's got to be a tough mindset to be like, I was not able to find somebody to make me happy the way that I think I'm supposed to be happy.
Well, I think that that's another thing. We're also at a point where people are really trying to do the work to heal themselves. And before, like generations before us weren't even acknowledging that they were traumatized. they may not know it, or they weren't willing to acknowledge it, and then they were getting in relationships with other people who were also not healing from whatever they were dealing with, and then it was just a whole ball of unhealed trauma projecting it onto the next generation. And so now you have, people who are becoming more in tune with who they are, why they're that way, whether or not that's conducive to having a relationship with someone else. And when you do the work and you do feel healed, you don't want to be like, you ain't licensed to be the healer of somebody else all the time. So it's like people may be more selective, and people may be at the point where they're like, okay, if I have to be alone, I have to be alone, because there's value in that peace and in that healing. Before, we just thought that we were all supposed to be together, and if we were hurt, we're outside. And if we're hurt, then that's all right. We just gonna be hurt, and it's okay, because this is what life is like. Well, now people in our cohort of people are like really working on owning that stuff and fixing it. So after you've done all the heavy lifting of fixing your own heart and mind and view of the world, the person you may be well suited for, or vice versa, they may not have done that work yet. So are you going to be like, well, I did all that work to take care of me, but now I'm going to battle through with this person? What if that person is not willing to acknowledge it? Or that person is, there might be people you're meant to be with. They're just not in the healing state that they need to be in order for y'all to have a healthy marriage. I think that we're so used to coming together and being broken, and then just, patching each other up, that now that people are going in and healing themselves, they don't want to have to patch up people. They don't want to have to apply pressure to wounds. Like, they want to be able to go into a marriage. The idea was, I thought when I was younger, is that it's two happy people that come together and they love each other, and then, they just enjoy life. But the first part was, it's two happy people. So now I'm being honest with myself and saying, I'm not happy, so I got to do this work to heal. So now I'm the happy person. I'm ready to meet my happy person, but this person is like in turmoil. I don't know if.
Why are you dating somebody who's in turmoil?
But we didn't always know we were in turmoil.
No, I'm talking about now. That's what I'm asking. Like, so I don't know.
What I'm saying to you is before, it was a bunch of unhealed people, and they were getting together because they said that doesn't matter because everybody is unhealed. And now you have this new group of people who are like, no, we should be healed beforehand. But you still got other people who are lagging behind, still living like we used to live. They're still not addressing everything beforehand. So is it that we're not vetting enough to figure out if this person has done enough for themselves? Like, I'm just trying to figure out, how can people who are single recognize that this person's done enough work without actually going through the experience? Like, damn, this person is not where they need to be. I'm going to be honest. I didn't do all of my healing while I was single, so I can't tell you how somebody is supposed to vet exactly to know if you're completely healed from all of your trauma. I'm saying, like, I think it all depends on when you're interacting with someone. How did they handle, an argument or a disagreement? What is their relationship like with their family? If you've had those types of problems and you've worked through it, when you see it, you know it, wouldn't you? No. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what to tell you then. Is your temperature changed? No, I just think that it's odd that it's like you make it seem like, well, then you just didn't figure it out. Well, why didn't you figure it out? And that's not fair. It is fair, because I feel like everybody has the same story. You either figure it out or you don't. And some people have better families that can give them information where they don't have to figure out as much. So my whole point is, everybody's not born on the same playing field. We get it. Mm-hmm. So if you get married and you were not healed before, what do you like? So what do you do? Like, how do you get better? So we're in a position, I feel like we're on here to give people some tidbits. And I feel like you're defending
like, or trying to represent a group of people who are looking to not be single. So I feel like
what I'm doing is I'm looking at the trends.
This is what I'm saying though. Like whatever trends you're looking at, nobody in my mind looked like they were ever approaching marriage like the way we were or where we are. I don't see I've never seen people to address marriage the way that we have. And I feel like the point of us doing this was to give just some people some tidbits for them to not have to bump their head as much. So when I'm bringing up something and talking about benefits of the marriage and you talk about things that aren't fair, they're there now. So what can we do to maybe like help them along the journey that we didn't have so they don't have to bump their head? So that's why I can't.
Okay, so what I would say is for those people who, I just think everybody needs to seek their own personal healing. So when they come into a partnership, into a marriage, they're like.
You don't think two people can heal together?
Yeah, but I still think what I'm saying to you is there are a lot of people who are owning that stuff right now and trying to focus on that so that they can come into a marriage as a happy, complete person.
Yeah, I guess
not a broken person.
I got you. I guess to me, you don't know what's broken until you're in a relationship where somebody can say, "Oh, I don't like this," and you realize that, hey, dang, I didn't even know that. So it's like whatever you think it looks like, you still don't know what it looks like until you're with somebody else.
I think in your relationships with other people and how you interact with them, there are common threads that might be able to give you an inkling of an idea that you got some work to do.
Well, I believe if you're single after a certain age, you have work to do because, like I said, as a young kid, before we were tainted by whatever examples or whatever messages, the idea was that we were good enough to be in a relationship with somebody and have this happiness, whatever it may look like. And if you didn't have that, it's because somebody told you that you shouldn't get married. Because
go ahead.
Because like as a kid, like when you think about the things that you see, like the only way you wouldn't want to get married is if you got these messages that said marriage was bad and this is what happens and all of these ideas.
I also think that some people may see it and be like, that's not what I want. And they're going to search until they feel like there was someone who's going to give them something that they didn't see growing up. So then let me ask you this. The way you approach marriage now, how old were you when you figured that part out?
Figure what out?
How to approach marriage in this way.
In the way that I look at it now, it doesn't matter.
Why?
Because before I got married, my whole intention was to get here.
No, what I'm saying to you is this. So you said that if you're single at a certain age and you haven't figured it out, there's a problem. And so what I'm saying to you is when you got to the point where you understood how to approach marriage, how old were you?
27, 28. Before I got married to you, this is when I decided that I was ready for marriage. Like the way that I approach it now, that just comes through experience and age. I'm saying that before I thought I was capable of having a successful marriage.
Do you feel that, but I don't, I guess we're looking at it differently because I feel like just like before when I was saying there were people who were hurt and we didn't know to heal ourselves and we got into marriages and it was just.
Correct. But that's why I asked you earlier, could you heal together? Because to me, I felt like before we got married, I didn't think I could do it, but then I was just like, I can do it. And then after the years, I was like, oh, I can do this. But I didn't realize how much more I could have done.
Yeah, but you just said, you were like, well, we're supposed to be on here to give people tidbits of how, because how we approach marriage now. We just started approaching marriage this way. And so to act like we have been building up to this, we haven't been building up to this. We were like in a hold for years, managing the marriage the way we thought we were supposed to based on what we had learned. But like the way we look at marriage now, we started approaching it that way in our 40s. So
that's what I'm saying. So
and that's while we were married and bumping along the way. So if someone's not married and they're not bumping along the way, but like I don't know if we can say that if somebody is around our age and they're single, that it's that there's something wrong with them, because we just figured it out. That, I mean, we were just able to kind of break from our previous thought processes and reorganize our vision for this.
Do you know the type of work it takes to get to 14 years though? That's what I'm saying. Like this is what I want you to understand. Like, in order to get 14 years, you have to go to 1, 5. You have to do all of these things. So for us to get here, we had to start somewhere. If we never started, we would have never nowhere near got to 14. So when I'm talking,
go ahead.
So when I'm talking about single people, like there has to be something that gets them to start. And like at 40, like, and the only reason why I'm doing this, people our age, because I'm using societal norms of where we are. We're middle age, supposedly, right? Most people are going to die before the age of 78, period. So if we're over halfway, and marriage is about, honestly, raising kids and growing together, the message that I got when I was younger. When you get this age, you don't have the same, you can't say marriage is like that anymore. You can't say I still have these ideas because your youth has been passed. So when people say, I'm just going to work on me, you don't have a choice, because the idea that the mindset that you had prior allowed you to get to this point where you have to curve the way you look now. You like, you know what? I just looking for somebody that's for me. The kids thing is kind of out of the way. So it's like I'm comfortable with the decisions I've made where you have to be, because if you don't, then that means you're going to be in a state of depression, because you trying to figure I did all these things right and I got here. You have to like give yourself pep talks like, you know what? I don't want to do that anyway. That wasn't for me. I could, because if you didn't, like, dang, I didn't make it. I didn't get one. It's that would hurt. Like to beat yourself up every day. So I'm just saying where we are now, I feel like the benefits of marriage, that's the whole point, was talking about what did we benefit from it? And you went into the, people aren't there. Well, the benefits of marriage for me, I felt like I actually grew with a person that I didn't even know that I could. I felt like even before I got to this point, I looked at you like this is the mother or a wife that a man should have. Like I could see that, you know what I'm saying? But in my head, I was still trying. Like, I want to be like the best husband possible, the best father. I just did not know how to do it, what it looked like or whatnot. But I think everybody has some type of learning curve. And to me, we talk about so many negatives, but we don't talk about the actual state of being. Because when I look at you sometimes, and I'm like people don't get to live like that regularly our age. They're working. Like you have a peaceful life in me. Like on the outside, just me looking. I don't know the turmoils you may have going on the inside, but I feel like you have healthy kids, you got healthy dogs, we got a nice home, you have a job that you enjoy, and you have a husband that'll support you. Like we've done all of these other things that people talk about is a good thing. But when I ask you the benefits of marriage, I guess because the people who aren't married, I feel like they should be able to benefit to some of the things that you and I have on an everyday basis. It's almost like being a city girl going on vacation to the country. Like being married is like a lifestyle to me. Like when you go on vacation with your friends or whatnot, it's like a break from this. But when you enjoy where you live, you don't have to go anywhere, to me. So it's like the benefit of being married is it makes me happy where I don't know how to explain it. I feel like everything's going to be all right. I feel like the kids make me feel like we're doing a good job. I feel like you singing in the house, like I said, like makes me feel like I am doing a good job. And I always want to get better, but at the end of the day, like, I don't feel like there's enough messages of the benefits of being married, because we're always talking about people who don't know how to do it, or people who don't, that it's not for. So why would anybody want to get married if we're only talking about those who don't know how to do it?
You're the one who always be saying how somebody don't know how to do
Well,
it.
today was talking about the benefits of it, and you totally went into some negative. And I'm like,
No,
wow.
I didn't go into anything negative. I was just saying to you, like, my response came off, if I'm recalling correctly, you said something about people not knowing how to do it or not understanding, and this is what they haven't figured it out. And what I'm saying to you is, even with the statement you said, we have 14 years. I've seen people who've been married 20 and 25 years and they still ain't figured nothing out. So whether or not you've been married and struggled through it, or you grew up, they grew up, and then y'all got married, I don't think having years of struggling with somebody is the badge of honor. I think that
Not at all.
Yeah, I think that all I'm saying is that I'm not gonna sit here and say being married and struggling to heal and grow up together is better or more productive than doing it on your own and then finding somebody else who is also healed. I think that in our world right now, because not everybody is focused on that, it's easier to just find somebody who's not healed and hope that you could struggle through it. But not everybody wants to.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Then you can't have a successful relationship. I feel like that somebody in the family has to go through that part to be able to, like, we've been doing it the wrong way. We don't have to, like,
maybe we're looking at it differently, because I don't think that I should have to hurt.
You don't have to, but you don't have to. But if nobody in your family knew how to help you to look at a man, you shouldn't mess with this guy because he's doing this because he comes from this type of background. And then you would ultimately be like, nah, I'm going to go figure it out anyway. And you'd be like, no, I guess I'm not going to do that because my parents said this is what that looks like. So you didn't have that guidance. My point is, you don't just miraculously find somebody who's not going to give you the turmoil because you grew up in different, like, even like if you marry somebody in your own town, you grew up in a different household. You don't know how the mother was treated. You don't know how so many things, but I'm saying there's behaviors that you can tell in somebody else. Be like, because even like, just thinking about when our kids become a certain age, and I asked you, I said, are you going to allow Day to date somebody that looked like me? And he was like, absolutely not. And why? You think that your mother wanted you to date somebody absolutely like your father? Like, and he was just like, because you have the eyes to know, like, oh. So if you don't have that information, you don't know. You're going to just be in a cycle. So to me, I feel like now the way that I view things, I feel like Day would have a better idea of what a man should look like on the outside amongst people. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you don't have to be extra, because I was extra my entire life. I was always being too much.
Okay, so what did you say the benefits of marriage were?
Oh, I have a sense of, like, it's like a plant. Like, to me, I didn't say this, but it's like I'm nurturing it every day. Like, whatever work I do, I feel like if I do everything I'm supposed to do, tomorrow's going to be all right. So I feel like it gives me a sense of ownership that I am responsible for making sure this is watered, making sure this is getting enough sunlight. So to me, every day I'm like, wow, what is, it's not like I get up to figure out how can I make the most money ever. It's like, how can I make my family happier so that they can have a better product? Because if I'm not a good father, you can't really get the best out of yourselves, because you're not happy with me. Because at the end of the day, if you wake up, you're like, damn, he is in the other room, or he is next to me. I wish he go to work. Like, I remember my father feeling like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, imagine if you woke up and you didn't feel, you're like, oh, I'm going to see my parents today. I'm going to have a great day. Or, like, my kids are going to come and say hello to me and they're going to tell me to have a good day.
So the benefit of marriage is having a family that enjoys being around you.
No, having this the ownership of the responsibility of making something grow. Like you're responsible for making this look the best that it can. Before it was just like going day to day. It was like I'm working, I'll pay bills, we'll go on trips. Now it's more personal. It's more like you don't get into a relationship, or I haven't seen anybody get into a marriage and they were just like, you know what, I'm gonna enjoy the now. This is the first day. This is the 117th day. This is the 2000th day. I don't see that. So now it's like I approach it like, how can I at least get a couple of smiles in a day for my family? Because I feel like it builds to whoever you're supposed to be for that day.
Okay, so is that you can only accomplish that through marriage, though?
If you have kids, yeah, that's the only way. Like if you don't live with your kids, what makes you think how can you get they're gonna say good morning to you? Like,
so are we saying marriage, or are we just saying partnership? Because what if people they have a relationship, they live together, they never get married, they have kids?
well, whatever
that
that looks
matter?
like for them. My whole point,
Okay.
the whole point, like
You're saying
we're
living together
married,
and
we're
being-
married.
right?
So whatever partnership or marriage look like, I'm referring to living in the same household
Okay.
with your kids.
Okay.
I feel like that is the best equation to raising a family. I don't believe that somebody should be out of the house a certain period of time or they're doing something. I believe that everybody's input is going to ultimately determine the success of the family. If not, somebody's going to be working harder than the other. So if I'm out of the house and I'm making money, you're really running the house. I'm just providing finances. And then I come home and I say, hey, what's going on? You've been running the house the whole time. So finance, that's why I say like now, I feel like marriage, for me, the benefits of it makes me feel like my life is, it's meaningful. Yeah, that's probably the word I'm looking for. My life has been it's been meaningful every day I wake up. I can't say that it was meaningful before, but I believed